Alright, so at number 24, the worst character in the mid-tier is none other than Peach, who barely snuck out of the low tier, but couldn't get any higher than 24. Peach has average speed, average strength, good range, and the unique ability to consistently float in the air. Even though Peach has this ability, her aerials aren't very good. She is much better on the ground. She has excellent range and decent kill power to go along with it, but the inconsistency of her moves really hurts her. Peach's side smash and up smash are her best kill options. I'm pretty sure her down smash wouldn't KO at any percent. It's probably her most useless move behind her neutral special, which is a move you would only use if you wanted to see Toad get abused. Although Peach may have some strong KO moves, her grabs are anything but strong. None of her grab throws hit double digits in percent, which is a shame because her grab range is pretty good. I do like doing her down throw just because it's funny seeing Peach sit on top of her opponents. Peach's recovery is okay, but not sensational. Peach missing the ledge with her umbrella can result in a rather slow descent to her death. The last thing we'll talk about with Peach is her projectile. Her projectile is actually a turnip. Peach has to pull these turnips out and throw them instead of doing both in one move. Peach seemingly has an eternal supply of these turnips, but can't throw them much farther than 10 feet. I think it's safe to say Peach won't be receiving a contract as a pitcher anytime soon. The turnips as a whole are more helpful than not. If it weren't for Peach's inconsistency in most of her moves and her weak aerials, she would be higher on this list. At number 23 is Lucario. Other than Pikachu, Lucario is the only Pokemon not part of the Pokemon trainer. Lucario is pretty average in speed and strength. However, Lucario is significantly stronger at higher damage, due to his Aura Ball doing more damage at later percents. The only drawback to this is that Lucario has to charge up longer. Lucario is a pretty average character, but that doesn't make him a balanced character. Lucario is much better fighting on the ground than he is in the air. Lucario's aerials are some of the most inconsistent in the game, which is extremely unfortunate considering Lucario is one of the floatiest characters in the game. However, Lucario does have a good recovery, which has a few frames of invincibility. Lucario's recovery is one of those recoveries that needs to be pointed in the direction of the stage, similar to Wolf's recovery. Other strengths of Lucario is his projectile and his excellent range, but even though Lucario has a good projectile and great range, he severely lacks good kill options. His down smash is trash. His forward smash and up smash are his two strongest moves, but are very inconsistent. His Aura Ball is his best kill option, but only when he is at higher percent. To sum up Lucario, he is great at fighting on the ground and racking up damage, but has a hard time killing his opponent and accomplishing anything in the air. At number 22 is the character everyone knows but nobody plays, Mario. Honestly, I was a little shocked Mario made it this high in the rankings, but Mario does surprisingly hold his own, for the most part. Mario is a lighter and weaker character in the game, which already keeps him out of the high tier. He has one projectile, which is his Fireball, which isn't a great projectile, but it's better than nothing. Unless you want to count his Flood, but since that doesn't even deal 1% damage to the opponent, I think we can leave it off. Speaking of Mario's Flood, that move is by far one of the most useless moves in Brawl. Why would you create a move that does no damage to the opponent and only provides knockback? It's basically the opposite of Fox's laser. And one other thing about Flood, it has to be charged. Who is going to take the time to charge up a move that doesn't even do any damage? Now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about some other aspects of this character. Mario has good speed and great aerials. skills. Mario has a great up air and back air. His down air is a very safe move and it's good at racking up the opponent's damage. However, Mario's play on the ground is pretty lackluster. His dash attack and jab is good. His up smash and down smash are both reliable kill options, but the range on these moves aren't. His side smash and back air are his only moves with good range. To sum up Mario, he is great in the air, has good moves and decent kill options, but suffers greatly from his lack of range. Next up is none other than Zelda and Sheik. Yes, these two characters are with each other in Brawl, and are not played separately, which is why I included them together unlike the official tier list which ranks them separately, probably due to the fact that the user, unlike Pokemon Trainer, can use Zelda or Sheik the entire match without switching characters. So I took the official tier list ranking of Sheik, which was at 20, and Zelda, which was at 36, and averaged them out to 28. That way my list could be easier to compare to the actual rankings. Anyway, back to the point about Zelda and Sheik being together in this game. It kinda works, but barely. Definitely a step up from Pokemon Trainer for the reason I gave earlier. But if you want to switch characters, there's never a good time to do it. Zelda and Sheik's transformation takes way too long and often results in a free side smash from the opponent. The reason this partially works is because these characters complement each other so well. Zelda is the stronger one out of the two, but is definitely slower. However, Sheik is extremely quick, but isn't very strong. Zelda is great on the ground and Sheik is great in the air. But I would say one of the reasons Sheik should be considered better than Zelda is because of being better on the ground than Zelda is in the air. Sure, Zelda's back air can kill at 60%, but her sweet spot on it is pretty small. Both these characters have a decent projectile, but Sheik's is definitely better because of its quickness in hitting the opponent and is practically invisible to see. Unfortunately, this is where the fun stops for Zelda and Sheik, because there are a few things that definitely keep these characters from being any higher in the ranking. Zelda and Sheik both suffer from having the same lackluster recovery, which hides the opponent's view of them, but it has horrible vertical range and abysmal horizontal range, doesn't protect Zelda and Sheik, and does no damage to the opponent. Now we have arrived at the most frustrating part of these characters. It by far is their extreme lightweight. It feels like playing with a balloon. They're so fragile they could pop at any moment. These characters are the lightest characters in Brawl, and the amount of times I've seen these characters die by stupid moves that should never kill has shocked me. They die at under 100% more times than should ever be possible in Brawl, and if they could just pack in a little more meat, they might be in the next video. But this is where they are at, and it stinks. At number 20 is one of the heavier characters in the game, King Dedede. King Dedede is a good character in Brawl, but top 10 is a little much. For starters, King Dedede is one of the characters who struggles the most in the air. He gets punished very easily in the air and has a hard time getting back down safely. His projectile, which is his waddle Ds, don't do much, but his spikes that he throws inflict a ton of damage, have huge knockback, and is a great kill option. But he has to throw about 10 Waddle Ds before he even throws one spike, so he is only going to be able to throw out a few spikes in a match. King Dedede is obviously slow and huge, which makes him an easy target to hit, but his range can make up for some of that slowness. King Dedede's hammer is one of the biggest weapons on the game. It has great range and great kill power. However, all of his hammer moves are extremely laggy. His jet hammer is one of the dumber moves. The longer the jet hammer is charged, the more damage it does, but if held too long, it starts inflicting damage on King Dedede, and the way King Dedede swings the jet hammer makes it lose most of its range. King Dedede also uses his hammer in the air, but for aerials to be good, they need to be very quick, unlike all of King Dedede's aerials involving his hammer. His down air is the only hammer move in the air that is relatively quick. but his forward air and up air are way too laggy. His back air is one of his few moves not involving his hammer. Another move that doesn't involve his hammer is his recovery, which is one of his strangest moves. When this recovery is initiated, he goes super high, which is great for the recovery part, but when King Dedede lands, he can smash his opponent underneath him. But if missed, King Dedede will sit there vulnerable for a second. King Dedede's body slam can be cancelled in midair, but he is still going to have a hard time getting to the ground. This recovery basically avoids one problem just to create another. Now let's talk about why King Dedede was probably so overrated on the official rankings. That would mainly be due to his overwhelmingly good grab range. Yes, the Big Bird is the best grabber in Super Smash Bros. Brawl, and his forward throw, back throw, down throw, and up throw are all good options that do plenty of damage. Even though grabbing is one of the most important mechanics in Super Smash Bros. Brawl, this shouldn't bump up King Dedede into the top 10. He has way too many weaknesses to get that carried away, but his grab range, strength, and range on pretty much any of his hammer moves were enough to get him into the mid-tier. Next up is another heavy-set character, King Koopa himself, Bowser. While I did put this character much higher up than the official rankings, there are still some major flaws in Bowser. Bowser is very easy to punish, obviously because he is huge. His big frame does allow him to live to higher percentages though. Before I go much further, let's get all of Bowser's weaknesses out of the way. Besides being easy to punish, Bowser also has quick fall speed because of his heaviness. Combine this with him having one of the worst recoveries in the game, and you have one of the most easily ledge guardable characters in the game. His spikes protect him a little bit on his recovery, but not enough. If there was one reason Bowser can't be more of a viable character in this game, is definitely his inability to get back to stage. Not just by getting ledge guarded, but even being in the air over top of the stage. So why is Bowser so high on my rankings? Well, let's talk about his ground game. On the ground, Bowser is an imposing force. He lacks a projectile, which does hurt him, but his amazing range, excellent kill power, and survivability more than make up for it. Bowser's range is excellent. Obviously, his arms and legs are huge, giving him more range. He also has Fire Breath, which has great range and is a safe option. Bowser also has great grab range, but this is not his only source of combating his opponent's shield. He can also take his opponent while they are in shield and body slam them using his side special, which does a good chunk of damage. If Bowser is ahead of his opponent by at least one stock, he can kill his opponent at any percent by using this move off stage. It will kill Bowser in the process, but will put him much farther ahead of his opponent. All of his smashes have great range too, but even better kill power. Side smash and up smash are probably Bowser's best kill option, but down smash is probably his safest kill option. It would be really nice if Bowser wasn't so punishable in the air, but his abilities on the ground are great and what really boosts him up in this ranking. Now number 18 is surely going to produce some controversy, especially for those who have watched competitive Super Smash Bros. Brawl. I have the character who is ranked 3rd in the official rankings, Ice Climbers. Now let me explain why I don't believe Ice Climbers are a top 10 character in Brawl. There's mainly one reason: this should be banned. In some Smash tournaments, Ike was banned for being overpowered. He shouldn't be banned, this should. If ice climbers grab their opponent, that's the end of their opponent's stock. Does that not seem like it should be banned? This not only makes matches against the ice climbers completely unfair, but their opponent has to play completely different. To beat the ice climbers, you have to use moves that involve staying away from the ice climbers, and unfortunately not all the characters in Brawl have projectiles, and most of Brawl's characters don't have projectiles that kill, which means you'll eventually have to get near the ice climbers to kill them. This chain grab is the only thing in Brawl that should be completely banned, so I am basically ranking the ice climbers as if they don't have this mechanic, and that's why they are at 18. If I would rank them with the chain grab, they wouldn't be number 3. They'd be number 1. I'm honestly surprised they weren't ahead of Olimar and Meta Knight in the official rankings. Nobody else in the game has a move they'll consistently kill at any percent in any situation, so why should the ice climbers? Now let's talk about these little Eskimos as if the chain grab didn't exist. Ice climbers are still good characters. They obviously have the advantage of there being 2 of them against only 1 opponent. Also, the opponent can't do any damage against the ice climbers if they only hit the CPU controlled ice climber. But if they kill the CPU controlled ice climber, it makes it very difficult on the remaining ice climber. The main disadvantage of only having 1 ice climber is it takes both ice climbers for them to do their recovery. Without the other ice climber, they have no recovery. The ice climbers are much better at fighting on the ground than in the air. All of their aerials are hard to land. Up air is the easiest aerial to land, but of course it's also the weakest aerial. However, the ice climbers on the ground can be lethal. Their side attack is a safe and easy move to land. The ice climbers can freeze their opponent with down attack, and their grab is still one of the better grabs in the game even without chain grabbing. At number 17 is a character who is pretty much slightly above average in a lot of categories, and has very few weaknesses. This character would be Luigi. First off, Luigi is pretty well average in speed and strength. He also has pretty average range on most of his smash attacks, but much better range on almost everything else. This means Luigi can sometimes struggle to kill. His side attack is probably his most useless move. His dash attack is very good, and so are his aerials. Luigi's back air and up air have great range because of his long legs. His forward air is the same as Mario's and isn't a very consistent move. His down air is great at catching his opponent and racks up a fair amount of damage. Even though Luigi is good in the air, that doesn't apply to his recovery, which is pretty terrible. This move has pretty much no horizontal range and is very easy to ledge hog against. I mentioned earlier how Luigi's smash attacks are pretty much his only moves with average range, but unfortunately, they are also his only moves that have the ability to kill early. His down smash can be used to spike his opponent on the ledge. One of the few things I haven't mentioned yet about Luigi is his projectile. I find this projectile to be about as useful as Mario's, which is not very useful at all. Both projectiles are extremely slow and easy to avoid, but I think Luigi's is slightly better because it covers more range. Honestly, that's about all there is to say about Luigi. He is pretty well above average in everything except his projectile and his recovery. Up next is a character who made the official rankings top 10, but I thought there were a few weaknesses of this character that should keep him out of the top 10. That character is Diddy Kong. Diddy Kong is definitely a good character in Brawl, but is not top 10. For one, Diddy Kong is not extremely strong and does not possess excellent kill power. His peanut gun is a useless move. If he doesn't charge it, it's extremely slow and doesn't travel very far, and if he does charge it, it loses the element of surprise and the opponent can easily avoid it. Diddy Kong's kill moves usually have at least one weakness. His side smash is very strong but lacks good range. His up smash has good range but isn't particularly strong strong. Same goes for his down smash. One of the biggest reasons I wouldn't move Diddy Kong any higher in the rankings is because his recovery is not great. His side attack can be used for a short horizontal recovery, but it's pretty easy to ledge guard. Diddy Kong's main recovery is his barrel recovery. He basically uses his barrels as a jetpack and shoots himself onto the stage. This recovery is one of the strangest in the game because it's the only recovery that can be charged up. This would be great if Diddy Kong actually stayed suspended in the air while he charged it. Unfortunately, this is not the case. Diddy Kong will begin slowly falling while charging up this move, which means he can't be too close to the lower blast zone or he's done. Even though this move has great vertical reach if charged, it can sometimes run smack into the side of the stage and send Diddy into a free fall to his death. It's a very tricky recovery that would be so much better if it didn't need charged up. That's pretty much the main weaknesses of Diddy. Now to his strengths. There are two major strengths of Diddy Kong. First is that he's one of the best characters in the air. Diddy's aerials are great. They are quick, have good range, and are very easy to land. His other major strength, which is probably the main reason he was in the top 10 on the official rankings, is his banana game. Diddy Kong can use 2 bananas to trip up his opponent. This makes it very easy for Diddy to punish his opponents. If a banana is on the stage but has not been used for a while, it will start to fade until it disappears completely. But no worries, Diddy can just keep pumping out bananas. The opponent can use Diddy's bananas against him, but by the time they can get their hands on one, they probably taken so much damage it won't even matter. This lethal banana play and Diddy's great aerials are what got him so close to top tier in these rankings. Next up is one of the best projectile characters in the game, Toon Link. Toon Link has decent speed and is a lighter character on the game, which means he can die early, but his many strengths easily make up for this. Toon Link has good range on most of his moves since he has a sword. His sword also gives him good kill power. His side smash and up smash are both reliable kill options. Besides his kill moves, Toon Link has a lot of good moves to rack up damage. His dash attack and jab are both good for racking up damage. Besides his ground moves, his aerials are pretty solid as well. His up air, forward air, and back air all have excellent range and are safe options. But obviously, the main strength of Toon Link is his projectiles. His bomb is one of the better projectiles in the game and has a big hitbox. His bow and arrow is useless, but his boomerang is great for a quick short attack. One of the few weaknesses of Toon Link is his grab, which has good range but is slow. It can easily be avoided. This move can be used as a recovery, but it doesn't have good enough range to be reliable. His normal recovery is actually pretty good. It has good vertical reach and protects Toon Link. Toon Link's great aerials and projectiles are a great combination that gets him to the top of mid-tier. Now at number 14 is an almost identical character to Toon Link, Link. Now this is one of the biggest mistakes in the official tier list. Why in the world is Toon Link 21 spots ahead of Link? For crying out loud, they are nearly identical characters and most of the differences between them favor Link over Toon Link. I made an entire comparison video on why I think Link is better than Toon Link, so I'll try not to repeat myself too much. There's obviously one big difference between Link and Toon Link. It's their size. Link is much bigger, but I'll tell you why it actually benefits Link. Since Link is bigger than Toon Link, he can carry a bigger sword, which obviously means he has more range than Toon Link and deals more damage. Link's tornado also has a bigger hitbox than Toon Link's boomerang. Link's grab range is also much better because his chain is bigger, which also gives him better range on his tether recovery. Link's up smash is also much better than Toon Link's. Instead Instead of doing only one hit with the sword like Toon Link does, Link does a quick barrage of 3 hits, which does much more damage and is way easier to land. Those are the main reasons why Link is better than Toon Link. Most of the other things I mentioned about Toon Link apply to Link. Just keep in mind that on any move involving the sword, Link has better range. Even though Link is better than Toon Link in a lot of things, it's still not enough to separate them very far from each other in the rankings because they're still very similar in fighting style. Sorry to you Link fans for making this a comparison versus Toon Link and not giving Link the main focus. If you want to watch a video where I only talk about Link, I'd suggest watching my character analysis episode on him. Now to the top character in the mid tier, and it's also my favorite Smash Bros character, Samus. Now I know you're looking at how much higher my ranking is than the actual rankings and probably dismissing it as me being biased, but I can prove Samus is a good character in this game and worthy of this high ranking. The official rankings is based mainly off of success of each character in competitive Smash. Unfortunately, in competitive play, they only play on small stages such as Battlefield and Final Destination. Obviously, this hurts Samus because Samus is a character that's good for camping and needs time to charge up her charge shot. This forces Samus to fight close range, which is not optimal for Samus. Samus has one of the worst jabs in Brawl. It's extremely slow and weak. Now the other main weakness of Samus is her kill power. Except for her charge shot, Samus doesn't have many consistent kill options. Her side smash is slow and hard to land. Her up smash almost never kills, and down smash is easy to land but not easy to kill with. None of Samus's aerials are a threat to kill, and honestly behind her charge shot, down special might be her second best kill option. It's very easy to land, and the closer it is to the top of a blast zone, the more likely it is to kill. Now let's talk about everything that makes Samus so good. Obviously all the projectiles. The guided missiles and rockets are both easy to land and can be fired off very rapidly. Samus's aerials may not kill, but they are easy to land and deal good damage. Forward air and back air are extremely easy to land. Up air is probably the weakest, but can still be easily landed. Samus's bombs are honestly pretty pointless. They fall very slow and don't go off on impact, which makes them easy to avoid. But at least these bombs can't do any damage to Samus. Samus's grab has great range but should be used very carefully, because if missed, Samus will be very vulnerable afterward. But this move can be used in the air. It has great range and will eliminate the end lag. This move is honestly one of Samus's best weapons because it's not only great for racking up damage, but it is also a great recovery. Honestly, it's the only good tether recovery in the game. It has great range and is very safe. And if Samus's opponent ledge hogs, she can always use her normal recovery, which has great vertical distance. This move is also a great offensive move for Samus, as it is very easy to land and hard for the opponent to get out of. Samus's great recovery options, slow fall speed, and great air mobility make her one of the hardest characters in the game to ledge guard. Samus is also one of the few characters in the game to have the unique ability of having 2 great moves for recovery that are just as good for a consistent offensive attack. Combining this with her amazing projectile game, I believe she deserves this high of a ranking.